We are watching an infrastructure war unfold in the tech world, and it's really reshaping what it means to be a dominant player in AI.
Hmm.
For a long time, the AI race felt like a battle of algorithms, who had the smartest code.
Right.
Now, that race is fundamentally a battle of compute power, and I mean, nothing proves that more dramatically than this recent strategic alliance between Anthropic, Microsoft, and Nvidia.
It's a monster deal.
It is. We're talking about just staggering sums of money, guaranteed demand for specialized hardware, and commitments that are redefining the entire competitive landscape.
Yeah.
So our mission today is a deep dive into the specifics of this multi-billion-dollar agreement. We need to unpack the financial side, explain the cutting-edge technical stuff, and figure out what it means for you, the person who really needs to understand the future of enterprise AI.
To really appreciate the scale of this, I think we have to start with Anthropic itself.
Yeah.
They aren't an old giant.
Yeah.
They were founded pretty recently, 2021, by former employees from another major AI lab. And crucially, they position themselves not just as, another model builder, but as a frontier AI lab, prioritizing safety and alignment.
That safety focus was their calling card, right?
It was, absolutely.
And it's a calling card that has attracted just unbelievable investment at a ridiculous pace. Here's the first sort of aha moment that puts this whole alliance in context.
Okay.
Think back just a few months to September 2025. Anthropic had just wrapped a funding round that valued them at $183 billion.
Which is already a massive number for a company that young.
Exactly. But now, following this new alliance with Microsoft and Nvidia in late November, market observers estimate their implied valuation has.
Well, it's essentially doubled.
Wow.
We are now talking about approximately 350 billion US dollars.
350 billion. Yeah. To put that into perspective, that implies Anthropic, a company founded in 2021, is now worth more than the GDP of entire mid-sized nations. I mean, this isn't just growth. This is the market pricing the foundational future of AI.
It's incredible. Within just a few short years, Anthropic has morphed from what started as this, ethical, safety-focused startup into one of the dominant top-tier players. They're operating at scales now comparable to major tech giants.
And they need partners to keep that up.
They absolutely need strategic partners to maintain that velocity.
Okay, so let's dig into the concrete commitments, because that $350 billion valuation is built on very real contracts. This isn't just promises. This is cash flowing and infrastructure being locked down for the next decade.
Right. We can break it down into two huge categories.
Right.
Direct investment and then Anthropic's commitment to buying compute capacity.
So let's start with the investment.
Okay. On the investment side, you see the partners pouring capital directly into Anthropic. Nvidia is committing to invest up to $10 billion.
$10 billion.
And Microsoft is adding up to $5 billion. So it's $15 billion in cash in strategic equity, securing the balance sheet, ensuring Anthropic has the runway to go after truly advanced generational models.
But the real strategic lever here, I mean, the true moat being dug, is on the compute side. The sheer volume of hardware and cloud time, they're guaranteeing they'll buy.
That's the core of it, yes. Anthropic commits to purchasing roughly $30 billion in compute capacity from Microsoft's cloud platform, Azure.
$30 billion.
And that's not just a big purchase order. This guarantees Anthropic priority queue access. So when every competitor is scrambling for scarce hardware,
Which they are.
this $30 billion check basically insulates Anthropic from the hardware shortage that cripples smaller companies. That guaranteed resource stream is what locks in Azure as their primary cloud partner.
And it's not just the cloud platform, right? It's the specialized silicon underneath it. That's the real bottleneck today.
Precisely. Anthropic will also contract up to 1 gigawatt of compute capacity using NVIDIA's specialized AI hardware.
1 gigawatt. Can you put that into perspective?
It's a massive number. It's enough energy to power hundreds of thousands of homes, and all of it is being dedicated solely to AI training and inference. And they're not buying last year's model. They're targeting the absolute cutting edge.
So they're specifically mentioning things like Grace Blackwell and the Vera Rubin systems.
Right. Wait, let's pause on those names for a second because they're important.
Why should the listener care about those specific names?
Because it signals Anthropic is securing capacity years ahead of the general market. Grace Blackwell isn't just a faster chip. It's a whole co-design system that tightly integrates memory and compute, specifically for models like Claude.
Okay.
And Vera Rubin is the next generation platform architecture. By locking in a gigawatt of this stuff now, Anthropic is guaranteeing they will always have the most efficient, powerful hardware on Earth. It gives them an almost insurmountable lead.
So if you look at the totality, 15 billion in investment, 30 billion in guaranteed cloud spend, plus a gigawatt of the world's most advanced accelerators. I mean, it just screams that the AI race is now a compute-driven race.
It's official. The biggest bottleneck isn't the idea anymore, or even the researchers. It's the silicon and the energy required to run those ideas.
And that shifts us from the money into the deeper strategic move here, the technical and distribution synergy.
Exactly. This deal isn't just transactional. It represents a really unique collaboration, especially between Anthropic and Nvidia.
That's the part I found most fascinating, this deep technology co-design partnership. We hear optimization all the time, but this sounds like it goes way further.
It does. This is the concept of model plus silicon co-design. Imagine if a car manufacturer and a race team design the tires, the engine, and the track surface all at the same time.
So total integration.
That's the level of optimization they're aiming for. They plan to jointly design and engineer both the AI models, that's Anthropic's domain, and the hardware, which is Nvidia's.
And the goal is just profound efficiency.
Profound efficiency. Anthropic's future models have to be tailored to run with maximum performance on Nvidia hardware. But, this is critical, Nvidia's future chip architectures will evolve specifically with Anthropic's AI workloads in mind.
So it's a feedback loop.
It's a feedback loop that lets Anthropic squeeze out unprecedented efficiency, driving down their operational costs compared to competitors who are just buying off-the-shelf hardware.
That technical lock-in gives them a major competitive edge in efficiency and cost. But then you have the distribution side, which is Microsoft's area of expertise. They are the market maker here.
The massive distribution channel.
Yeah. So Anthropic's Claude models will become accessible to Azure customers through Microsoft's AI Foundry service.
Right, and the AI Foundry is Microsoft's offering designed for enterprises to, discover, test, and tune various frontier models for their own use cases.
So Microsoft is essentially packaging Claude with its infrastructure and all its enterprise tooling.
For sure. And we'll likely see Claude models deeply integrated into Microsoft's vast productivity ecosystem. Think Copilot, GitHub Copilot, Copilot Studio.
Which means millions of developers and enterprise users suddenly have easy access to Anthropic's tech.
Exactly.
And this leads to a critical flexibility point for large enterprises that I think you just can't overstate.
Oh, absolutely.
With this alliance, Claude becomes the only frontier large language model that will be available across all three major global clouds: Azure, AWS, and Google Cloud.
And if you are an enterprise CIO managing a diverse IT environment, that flexibility is gold. You can deploy the same cutting-edge model across your various cloud setups, which, significantly reduces the risk of vendor lock-in.
It makes Anthropic way more appealing globally.
Because they can serve customers wherever their data and infrastructure already live.
So we've established the money and the technical details. Let's move to the strategic why, what each player specifically gets out of this very intricate web of dependencies.
Okay. Well, for Anthropic, the benefits are pretty obvious and, frankly, essential. They secure massive, guaranteed compute resources and diversified partnerships.
They're set.
They now have the financial and strategic backing to compete with any AI lab on Earth. This secures them as a top-tier player, period.
But I have to ask, Anthropic came out of the gate with this really strong focus on safety and alignment. Are they sacrificing that narrative just to keep pace? Does locking down a gigawatt of the fastest hardware on Earth make their safety claims feel a little bit like, well, good PR?
That tension is very real, and it's a constant theme in the AI space. I think they would argue the alliance allows them to scale safely because they have the resources to invest in alignment research alongside model training.
So they need the scale to make their safety work relevant.
Exactly. They're betting that scale and safety can coexist. But to do that, you have to prioritize compute access first.
Okay, shifting to Microsoft, they're putting in $5 billion and securing $30 billion in future revenue. What's their strategic win?
It's strategic differentiation for Azure. This deal reduces Microsoft's reliance on a single primary AI model provider.
Spreading their bets.
And it broadens the AI offering for their massive customer base. By giving enterprises more choices, OpenAI plus Anthropic, for instance, it strengthens Azure's appeal against AWS and Google Cloud. They become the platform of choice for model diversity.
And for Nvidia, the world's most critical hardware provider in this space. I mean, it's not like they were hurting for business, but this is still huge for them.
It's huge. Nvidia secures guaranteed massive long-term demand for its newest and next-gen hardware. for years to come. But the bigger prize, I think, is establishing Nvidia not just as a hardware vendor, but as an integrated AI infrastructure partner.
Ah, so they're moving up the stack.
They're directly shaping how future foundation models are built, ensuring their chips remain the foundational standard for the AI frontier. It keeps competitors out.
And this is where it really connects to the bigger picture. What does this whole deal signal about the broader AI landscape?
I think it signals a fundamental shift that should be, frankly, concerning to smaller players. We are firmly entering a compute-driven phase. Access to massive specialized AI hardware and cloud capacity is now a prerequisite for building any new frontier AI systems.
So if you don't have tons of billions in compute locked down, you can't really compete at the high end anymore.
You can't. It's become a game of guaranteed resource pools.
On the plus side, though, some analysts note this does encourage a bit of diversity, right? By ensuring multiple frontier models, like Claude, are easily available, it could reduce the risk of a monopoly.
Absolutely. It forces everyone to keep innovating rather than just relying on ecosystem lock-in. However, this level of upfront commitment, that tens of billions being thrown around, is leading to serious concerns about an AI bubble.
Right.
The worry is that the massive capital expenditure on chips and data centers is being spent now. But the killer apps that will actually monetize these services haven't scaled fast enough to generate returns that match the investment.
It's the classic infrastructure paradox. You build the highway hoping the traffic comes. If the monetization doesn't keep up with the infrastructure bill, that money is just sitting idle.
Exactly. And we have to circle back to the long-term sustainability issues that always trail these massive models, especially with that 1 gigawatt commitment.
The power consumption.
The sheer energy consumption is enormous. As these commitments translate into real-world energy use, the environmental and infrastructural strain becomes a significant long-term concern that society and regulators will have to address.
Okay, so let's bring this to a close by looking ahead to 2026. What should you, the listener, be watching for next, based on this deal?
Given Anthropic's soaring valuation, that nearly $350 billion figure, many observers now expect a potential IPO in 2026.
That would be a huge moment.
It would radically change their access to capital, but also increase accountability and force more transparency. That's a major milestone to watch.
What else?
We also need to see how successful that technical co-design partnership actually is. If the model plus silicon engineering between them works, it could lead to immensely efficient, powerful AI systems within 2 years.
But if it doesn't?
If there's any misalignment, it could seriously inflate costs and slow deployment.
And finally, will this trigger a new wave of consolidation? If this three-way alliance proves to be super effective, will competitors start aggressively locking in similar deals to secure their own slice of the infrastructure pie?
I think they'll have to. And we can't ignore the regulatory angle. Anthropic's expanded scale and its consolidation of power will inevitably draw increasing scrutiny from regulators on gatekeeping, privacy, and of course, the ethics of it all.
They are now too big to ignore.
Way too big to ignore.
So what does this all mean for the future of innovation? I guess the final provocative thought for you to consider is this. Does this massive investment signal that the real competition in AI is no longer about the algorithms, the cleverness of the code, but purely about the guaranteed scale of electricity and specialized silicon needed to run it?
It seems like we've reached the point where even the biggest brains still need the biggest pipes.
Thank you for joining us for this deep dive. We'll catch you next time.